So today I'm going to be listening to Anton Webern's Variations for Orchestra, Opus 30. It's about 7 minutes long, and it's for pretty much a chamber orchestra. The instrumentation is 1120, 1111, timpani, celesta, harp, and strings. I guess it's supposed to be 9.5 minutes, but I've seen much faster performances, I guess. It's sort of his later style. It's a bit pointillistic. I think it's written in 1940, but this publication is from 1956. I have analyzed this once before, and it makes a lot of interesting uses of like multiple layers of like these exchanges of hexachords, which sort of fill out the 12 tones of the chromatic scale. If you aren't familiar, Webern is a part of the Second Viennese School, along with Arnold Schoenberg and Alban Berg, and he's one of like the 12-tone pioneers of this 12-tone system of composing. I don't think there might not be a Wikipedia article for this one, but we do have a tone row here. Yeah, you can see there's some symmetry in it, like starts with this minor second, ends with a minor second going in the opposite direction. Then you have a minor third, down a minor second, up a minor second. Then in the middle we get another minor second in the very middle and more minor thirds, right? So you can kind of see what sort of intervals kind of permeate the music. I don't want to wax on too much. I have another episode on Webern. If you want his biography, I would go to that one. I'm just listing it below here. And I will let you know my thoughts after today's listen. I highly encourage you to click on the link in the description and listen to it yourself. Okay, yeah, so immediately I remembered it's more the tetrachords that are important. I think that's kind of obvious from the tone row we looked at. But yeah, I don't think the hexachords are as important. So he breaks up his tone row into 3 groups of 4, and groups 1 and 3 are like the same intervallically, and the one in the middle is a little bit distinct. So it's kind of, if you want to identify rows and row forms in the piece, it helps to like find the middle one. That's what I found, and then you can find the other 2 tetrachords on either side. So yeah, I wrote this little essay about it in, I think, 2022 or something. And I begin by saying there's like redundancy in the row. Like if you play the row backwards, it is also the retrograde inversion of another row form. So like P1, for example, will equal Ri 1 minus 1 mod 12. So like P1 will equal Ri 0. R0 would equal I11. So this immediately creates some sort of ambiguity over what row form you're talking about when you have more than one note presented at the same time, right? It becomes a little bit unclear, like, okay, what is the starting note of the row form then? Because if you play the first 4 notes at the same time as a tetrachord, it's like a little bit ambiguous what row form is even happening. So that's sort of what I talk about a little bit. Tetrachord 1 is 0134, tetrachord 2 is 0347, and tetrachord 3 is 0134. So you can see that they can overlap a little bit. I talk about unordered tetrachords, multi-ordered tetrachords. This is sort of my own terminology. And that was sort of how I conceptualized analyzing it. Put simply, the unordered tetrachord 3 of prime x will always be equal to the unordered tetrachord 1 of prime x minus 5 mod 12. And the same thing applies with retrograde and retrograde row forms, if you want to talk about them. And you can create these two cycles of row forms, chaining together their tetrachords in this way. So I don't know if you could see this or if my face is blocking it, but this is how you could make a chain of prime row forms looping all the way back to P0. Same thing with R0 going all the way back to R0. And then from there, I went on to analyze the piece. Here's the matrix in measure, let's see, 56 onward. This is where you kind of get the most tetrachords at the same time. And it's very dense. So it's hard to make sense of it if you don't conceive of these cycles. What I'm trying to say in my paper is that you actually have multiple cycles, like these types of things, going on at the same time, and they're always chained together by the tetrachords, right? So the retrograde cycle is going on at the same time as the prime cycle. And right, so you can trace P2 at the start of measure 65 ends here in the harp where P9 then starts, and then P9 ends where P4 starts, then P11 starts where P4 ended, and P11 ends the phrase. And then at the same time you have R5 chains up to R10, chains up to R3, chains up to R8, which ends this phrase as well. So I don't know if this is interesting to anyone who's analyzing the piece, but this was how I sort of thought about it. And I'm sure it's not the most original idea. I tried to keep my terminology as clear and concise as possible. And I ended up writing the whole essay in just 5 pages. This is just sort of a sample of how mathematical almost Webern's composing is, and how sort of crystalline and clear it is when you get analyzing it. As fun as it was analyzing this, I kind of understand that dozens and dozens of people have probably analyzed the same piece and come to the same conclusions, because it's not really it's hard to put any sort of creative spin on it. It's really there's not much left to interpretation. It's just there. Next listen, I think we're going to listen to a gigantic piece. I think Carmina Burana is the next one. Actually, we're gonna listen to a 7-minute piece by Sylvester of Vueltas, and then on Monday I'm gonna have to slog through Carmina Burana. But yeah, happy listening. I hope this video is helpful, and when we get to the third Webern piece, I'll make a little playlist for people to enjoy.